Hi guys, Sarah here and welcome to Novel Expectations. Today I'm coming to you with my 26th weekly wrap-up of 2016. So 26 wrap-ups so far this year. That means we are halfway through the year, almost. Because I did my very first one, of course, the first Sunday in January. So pretty exciting. So I finished 2 books this week, but let's talk about how I'm doing on my challenges first. So for the summer book bingo, I have now finished 5 out of the 25 books. Yay! I still haven't gotten a line or anything. As I'm talking, I've got the picture posted up here, the bingo card. No lines completed yet. They're kind of all over the place, but I'm not picking these books in any kind of order. I'm just grabbing the next one off the shelf that I want to read. So on the A to Z Authors Challenge, I'm still only at 18 out of 26. On the A to Z Titles Challenge, I'm still only at 17 out of 26. For my 2016 How Many Pages Challenge, I am now at 15,396 pages of 25,000 pages completed. 61%. There's a reason I suddenly jumped that much this week, and when I get into the books I finished, you'll know why. Jelly Belly Jelly Bean Challenge, still no flavors completed. And for the Listopia Challenge, I'm still only on level 1, but I have done 6 out of the 25 books for level 1. So let's jump into the books that I finished reading this week. The first book that I finished was Double Play by Jill Shalvis. This is the first book in the Pacific Heat series. It was published in 2009 and I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed this book. This is the first Jill Shalvis that I have read to my recollection. I've probably read books by her from the Harlequin category romance because I know that's where she kind of got her start. But this is the first, outside of that I've read that I can recall. This was a baseball-themed romance. It was about a gentleman by the name of Pace, who was the star pitcher for the Pacific Heat, which is a fictional baseball team, Major League Baseball team, and Holly, who is a reporter for almost like a gossip online. I want to say like TMZ, but I don't think they're that bad. But she's looking for secrets and stuff like that. So of course, as it goes, the 2 start a relationship. Pace is dealing with a lot with a torn shoulder, and Holly has a lot of stuff in her background that she's trying to deal with. Plus there is, they talk quite heavily in this book about the use of performance-enhancing drugs in baseball, which I know is very much a subject that is being talked about quite a bit in major league sports nowadays, which is what I found very interesting. I really, really enjoyed this book. I know there was one that I read about a month or so ago called All of Me by Jennifer Bernard, which was also a baseball-themed romance. And the stories were very similar to me. Both were starting pitchers. Both were girls with a past. These books often end up following a formula, and I totally get that. But it seemed a little too close for comfort. And the second book in this series follows the catcher named Wade, and the second book in that series follows the catcher as well. So it is what it is. They're still adorable. I love baseball. I love reading this. What I really enjoyed about these books is that at the beginning of every chapter, she actually put a baseball-themed quote, which I thought was a lot of fun. Yeah, because I love baseball. Absolutely adore it. And the other thing I wanted to mention real quick is I love her outfit on the cover of that book. I think it's so cute. Every time I went to read it, I would look at it and go, I really like what she's wearing on that. I'm not a huge fan of the heads being cut off, covers. I don't know what's up with that, but that's something else totally different. So yes, highly recommend Jill Shalvis. This was 4 stars. I really, really enjoyed it, and I am going to be picking up the second book in the series. The other book that I finished this week, drum roll please. I finally finished Dragonfly Amber by Diana Gabaldon, the second book in the Outlander series. This book was originally published in 1992, and I actually gave it 4.5 stars, even though it took me almost 2 full months to listen to, because I did listen to it on audio. It was narrated by Davina Porter, who did just a fantastic job. I really, really love this book. I had a really hard time getting through the first half of it, and I wasn't the only one. I think I said last week I looked on Goodreads, and a lot of other people said the same thing, that the first half of the book is kind of a trudge to get through, because it's very political, it's very day-to-day life. I don't want to give away too much of the story itself because it is the second in a series, but that kind of bugs me when people say that, I don't want to say too much because it's the second in the series. Well, you obviously, if it's the second in the series, you kind of know that the characters from the first book survived. I mean, there's no big spoiler, you know. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. Jamie and Claire are now in Paris, France, and this book takes place around the reign of King Louis. Is it Louis the 15th? I don't know which one. But they spend a lot of time at Versailles and in Paris, and then they go back to Scotland and England, and it's just wonderful. The end of it, the last 2 or 3 hours of the book were just ugly crying heartbreak. It was fantastic. She is such a good author, and I loved the entire second half, or I should even say the last quarter of the book, absolutely made up for the first half of the book. No doubt, no questions asked, because I mean, I still gave this 4.5 stars, even though the first half was such a trudge to get through. I immediately wanted to go onto Audible and buy Voyager, which is the 3rd book in the series, and start listening to it. But I stopped myself because I have books I need to listen to for my summer book bingo challenge, and I think if I really had started listening to Voyager right away, I would have had a very hard time with it, because I'm not one who can marathon series, especially series that are that involved, so I need a break. So I figure maybe in the fall, after summer, maybe September, October, I might give book 3 a go and start there. So what am I currently reading? I am currently reading Missoula by John Krakauer. This is Rape in the Justice System in a College Town. This is a nonfiction novel. I'm only about 25 pages into it, 25, 30 pages into it, and it's a difficult read. I know I said I was going to talk more about this when I started reading this book, about my own personal background with this subject, but I really want to wait until I finish the novel before I get into that at all, just to say it's a hard read for me, but it is very enlightening, because I know I'm not alone. And that's what I'm going to say, and I will talk more about this book when I finish it for next week. And the other thing I'm currently listening to is actually To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. I'm listening to it on audiobook. It's being narrated by Sissy Spacek. I have not read this book since I was in high school, so this is a thrill. And it's so funny that a book that I probably read 20 years ago, as I'm listening to it now, I'm like, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that, you know? And I mean, I read it that one time, so that's got to tell you how much this book stuck with me. I really, really am enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to giving you guys a full review next week. So anyway, that is it for this week, guys. Let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these books and what you thought about them. And until next week, take care and happy reading. Bye, guys.